Hey, what's up, phone lovers? Welcome to the Mobile Roar podcast for the week of June 23rd, 2016. I am Joe Fidowa.
And I am Chris Chavez.
Welcome back, Chris.
Yeah.
I think it has been a while since you've been on the podcast.
It's been a long while, honestly.
Yeah.
Too long.
And I'm going to apologize ahead of time. If you hear birds chirping or cars driving by, it is my window is open and I refuse to close it because it's too damn hot in here. So you guys are just going to have to deal with it.
Is there the heat wave in Michigan right now, too?
It's summer, so.
Yep. It's just always hot.
Yep. All right, so talk about where you were last week, Chris.
So last week I spent 3 days at E3.
Oh, that's right. I was thinking you were at OnePlus event, but yeah, you were at E3.
There was not a OnePlus event, which was kind of odd, or at least not one that we were invited to. Or maybe we did get invited. Not sure,
but you have one though, don't you?
Yeah, they ended up just sending it to me, which is actually better than having to attend an event and like
seriously
have those awkward conversations with Carl Pei as he's watching you do your hands on. That was with the OnePlus 2 event, by the way. But yeah, they sent us this giant box. It was like this goodie box, and it was so amazing because our roommate here, he was just like sent me a message saying like, you have this giant box here, and I was like, because I told him I was expecting a phone, and he's like, I don't know if this is a phone. I was like, well, just open it and see what's inside. He's like, okay. So he opens it, and there's another giant box inside. So I was like, that was really confusing. I was like, what in the world is inside of there? But OnePlus sent us like all of the protective cases for the OnePlus 3 and the VR little headset thing that they had.
They're like, these guys are always giving us a hard time. So that's
exactly.
Let's bribe them to be nice to us.
They were really buttering me up, and I was like, oh, nice try, OnePlus. Like, I'm sure your phone still sucks. But then I was probably more surprised than anyone because I freaking love the phone. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we were talking last week about how like the narrative of all the reviews has seemed to have been OnePlus has matured and they've grown up and they made a solid phone.
Yes, super solid, and it's no longer. I mean, no more invites, all that good stuff. You can just go and buy one. I think they start shipping in 6 days or something. There still are some slight annoyances with their website and stuff, and that's just like all the cases. Most of them are like sold out. There's so many accessories that are out of stock and unavailable. And I'm sure that's probably, I haven't tried buying the phone on the site, but I feel like that's probably the case with the phone too. It's probably, in a sense, you're kind of, I don't know, just pre-ordering it and waiting for stock to come in, to trickle in. So I'm kind of interested to see how quickly they can keep up with the demand and if there's no complaints from people about like extremely long shipping times and stuff. But I guess we'll have to see. But the phone is amazing. Holy crap. So good. I purchased the HTC 10 with my own money, and I got to sell that thing. It's just not keeping up. I'm so surprised that
don't sell it too quick, Chris. You know how you can be.
That's what I was like. I'm waiting for the
I mean, how long have you had it?
It's been about almost a full week now. What's today? Yeah, I got it on Wednesday, so it's been a little over. And my biggest concern really was the battery life because of the 3,000 milliamp hour battery. On all these phones, like the Galaxy S7, the HTC 10, they all have 3,000 milliamp hour batteries, and they're awful. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I use the restroom, and by the time I'm out of the restroom, it's like I'm down 20%. I'm at like 80%. But this phone, I mean, it only drops like 6% or something.
I mean, what are you doing in the bathroom?
I'm in there for a while. It's a good portion of my morning is spent in the bathroom. But the S7 and the 10, I mean, they just die so quickly when I use them. I don't know what's the deal with those. I figured it was just a battery. I mean, for a while there, I was kind of just getting, I wouldn't say disillusioned, but just kind of fed up and annoyed with Android because I'm like, why can't Android just just last? Why does it have to suck so much battery up? Um, but the OnePlus, I mean, it's completely changed my mind about everything. It's enlightened me. Carl Pei is amazing. He really did a great job. The phone just lasts forever. I mean, I wrote a post about how well my battery life has been, and it's like 4.5 hours of screen on time. That's easy. Um, and that's just like base. Like everyone can expect at least 4.5 hours, which is crazy because I wasn't getting that. I was like maybe getting that on my Droid Turbo 2, which had like a 4,000 milliamp hour battery back in the day. So it's like I don't get that on my Nexus 6P. And everyone's cases are different, how much battery life you get and this and that. But for me, it is completely leaps and bounds better than the 10, the 7, my Nexus 6P, Nexus 5X. I mean, all that stuff. It's been really, really, really good. And it on a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. That's nuts.
It sounds like the display has a big part to play in that, since it's not
Yes.
2K.
Yes, the 1080p display, which you cannot tell at all. I mean, I was talking with some of my Android friends and met up with them when I was at E3 and stuff, and they were just like, "Oh yeah, I heard the display's not that good, 1080p." And like they looked at it and they were like, "Well, I can't even tell." Like, I mean, they were expecting it to look like 16-bit Sega Genesis graphics or something, but it's crystal clear. I mean, the colors are super vibrant. You can adjust the color warmth on the display, which I love because on my Nexus 6P and some of these other AMOLED phones, usually the display, like the whites are a little too yellow. It's a little too warm for my taste. So I cranked it up the blue levels a little bit and kind of whitened it out. And it just looks amazing. When I hold a display up to my MacBook Pro Retina display, it looks just like the same, if not a little bit better because of the AMOLED and the blacks and stuff. But this is why it's been so frustrating to read. I don't know. I feel like everyone is so quick to just crap on OnePlus, and we've been doing it for so long. This whole podcast, it's been like a running joke, so to speak, with OnePlus and everything that
and I wouldn't say that we've been unfair either. I mean,
no, not at all, not at all. So people are expecting the worst out of the OnePlus 3, and they're just expecting some huge design flaws, spec that just is just awful on it. And I feel like people are kind of sort of rallying behind this, the display not being up to par, because there was a review on Anantech, or Anantech, and they weren't very happy about the display at all. That they said the colors aren't like it's off and blah blah blah, all this stuff. They really 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 hated it, and they likened it to AMOLED phones from back in 2010. And it's just it sucks because it could have so easily been remedied just by having like the sRGB display setting, which you can't even get that on the Nexus 6P. You have to open developer settings, and then there's a little option for it, and nobody uses that because it looks like crap. Everyone wants unrealistic, super saturated colors on their phone. I mean, that's what we like. That's what I like. And I'm like, supposedly OnePlus is pushing out a software update for everyone that got the review devices that enable that little setting developer options. I'm not going to use it. I don't think anyone's going to use it because it's not going to look good, even though the colors will be more accurate. Sure, I don't care about that. I want the colors to look good. I want Instagram to look great, and it does. It's awesome.
Yeah, the whole like 1080p thing is. I wrote a couple posts just in the news stuff happened in OnePlus, and I mentioned unless you're looking at like VR.
Yes, that's it.
It's really unnecessary to have a 2K display.
Yeah, it's just so pointless. I mean, I have pretty sharp eyes, and I like to look, but I'm looking at like the letters and stuff. To me, usually it's my biggest gripe with any phone being low resolution is just the letters aren't quite as sharp and clear. But it looks, I mean, identical. I'm holding it like to my Nexus 6P. It's completely sharp, and you can't even tell unless I can't even hold a phone that close to kind of see it. I will say though, 5.5 inches is kind of pushing it. I don't think any phone above that should be 1080p. They should probably move up to 2K. But but it looks fine. And I mean, the battery life has been great when you're using it. All this stuff. I mean, there's some clear benefits to using a 1080p AMOLED, and um, I love the fact that the phone did that. That OnePlus did that. So
What about size wise? I know in the past the OnePlus has kind of been pretty big phone.
yeah, it feels a little bit big. I guess that's kind of my, I wouldn't say biggest gripe with it, but it's just a little bit large for my taste. 5.2 inches would have been great. But I will say the bezels on top are really small. The bezel on the bottom is nice and small as well. I mean, it's just barely creeping up over that little home button. So that makes it a little bit easier to grab, some of the stuff from the top. But it's pushing it as far as size goes for me. And I like, small devices. But that's the one thing I missed about the HTC 10, actually, is just that it was so petite and compact. But it's not a deal breaker at all.
How's the fingerprint sensor work?
Really, really well. Really, really well. I don't feel like it's learning quite like the Nexus 6P. I feel like I kind of have to hold my finger the same kind of way every time I unlock it, but I haven't really had any failed attempts unless I don't know, if it's on the desk and I try to use my thumb to do it, I'm like, it's not doing it. So then I had to hold my thumb like exactly the way I recorded it.
So this is like OnePlus's own implementation.
It feels like it. Yeah, I don't think it's, well, yeah, because it's not Nexus Imprint. Nexus Imprint's cool because it learns. The more you use it, the more it gets smarter and quicker and faster. And but it's lightning quick. I mean, it's like as soon as you touch it, it's just already open and on the home screen, just lights up. It's like, it's so amazing. But just, yeah, holding in my hand naturally the way I recorded it, it's like, it's solid, top notch.
Cool. Everything sounds good, and it's only $399. So
$399.
This is a year that we're not going to crap on OnePlus, maybe.
Yeah, I can't think of, and I've been kind of trying to find something really bad. I will say the camera probably is not. More or less just the performance. Sometimes I have these weird focusing issues, and just whenever I set settings for like HDR and turn it off, every time I open the app, it resets all that stuff. So HDR is back on again, or automatic HDR and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating. So OnePlus is a small company, and they're going to have software updates to address some of this stuff. But as it stands, that's probably my only gripe. But photos so far are great. Are super. Every time I take a photo, I go back and I look at it, and I was like, wow, that looks good. It's a good looking photo. Surprisingly. So
we just have to hope that, like, because I feel like a lot of times in the past the phone has come out and initially it's not that bad,
yes.
But then like something will happen after the fact, or someone will discover something after the fact.
That's kind of where I'm at with the battery life right now. Like the first week, I feel like with most phones are pretty good. Like that's the best you'll ever see your battery life. So if you're not getting that initially, it's only going to get worse from there out. So I'm kind of curious to see how that fares a little bit later down the road. I have been using the dash charge that the phone has, and it's pretty great because they use like a different technology. All the heat that normally gets transferred into your phone, if you use quick charging on the S7, that thing will get thermonuclear. I mean, like so incredibly hot. Same with the HTC 10. Like that phone is getting so hot, and heat is really bad for battery life.
Really, you think longevity. The HTC 10 gets hot?
Yeah, I've been.
I charge it like literally overnight with the turbocharger, and I never notice it being hot in the morning.
No, in the morning after it's all said and done, it's fine. But just that initial,
you mean the initial burst?
Yeah, 50%. It gets, gotcha. I mean, really, really hot to the point where I won't even. I make sure it's out on top of a hard surface and just letting it do its thing. And I don't really want to mess with it. But dash charging, all the heat is in the power adapter itself, so that's where it's doing all the craziness, and it's just shooting the juice out to the phone, and the whole phone stays nice and cool the entire time you're charging it. 10% for every 5 minutes of charging, and it's great. This phone is amazing. That's all I have to say. Phone's great. I love it. I absolutely love it.
All right, glad to hear. We'll check up next week. Yeah. All right, so I also have a phone here this week. I have the Galaxy S7 Active.
Oh man, look at that!
It's active because it's got camo all over it. It's real manly. It's the
So,
Octophone, man.
jeez.
Yeah. So I mean, talking about battery life, this phone has amazing battery life. 4,000 milliamp hour battery. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I've
That's
had this phone like 2 weeks and I've probably charged it like twice.
what in the world?
Because it has a really big battery and the doze mode just like works so well on this phone. It's
Mm.
ridiculous. I think that's really cool for because I feel like people who get the active phone probably do things like go on camping trips or like go hiking and stuff like that where maybe you're not going to be like around a charger all the time. So I think it's really cool that they made it a little thicker and put in a bigger battery. But actually, it feels so awesome. This phone, I really like the way that it feels.
The ruggedness? Is it
Yeah,
like a
because
rubbery finish?
it's metal on the side still,
Okay.
and then it's like a hard plastic. The black and the this around here is hard plastic, and then this middle section is like a rubber. It's like a textured rubber. It's not like a sticky rubber, but it feels almost like a basketball, I would say.
Okay, like a silicone coating or something on
Yeah,
it.
it's not slippery, but it's not too sticky where it like gets stuck in your pocket. I hate
Yeah.
that. It just feels really nice.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's a Galaxy S7. You know,
Is it premium feeling?
I would say it actually feels better than the S7 because the glass on the S7 is like so oily and fingerprint magnet, and it almost feels like plastic because it's so slick.
Yeah,
I actually prefer this.
that's cool. Have you
Um,
done have you done any drop tests with it yet?
Yeah, I did some drops. I like sprayed it with a hose and put it under running water under a faucet and like threw dirt and crap on it. And
Freezer? Did you do the freezer
I
test?
didn't do the freezer. I should have did the freezer. But
Yeah.
honestly, I was a little bit afraid to do too much extreme stuff with it because I know the display can still break.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. It's shatter resistant, but it's not shatter proof. So if you get a crack, it's not going to like spread and, ruin the entire display. It'll just stay like one little crack, but it still
Oh.
can crack. So
Good.
I was a little nervous to do that. But I gave it a 4.6 out of 5, which puts it right between the Edge and the S7 because I think it probably is worth the extra $100 to get the bigger battery if you don't mind the display. Or
Hmm.
not the display. If you don't mind the design, sorry,
Yeah.
design. If you don't mind the design, it's worth spending the extra $100.
Yeah. It
But you
looks.
could also just spend an extra $100 and get the Edge, which also has a bigger battery than the S7. So
Yeah, the Edge had great battery life.
it did.
That's still probably like one of the top phones for me right now. As
If
far
you
as
hate the Edge display, but you want better battery life, the
oh yeah, because
Active
it's
would be cool.
flat. It's a flat display, so
Yeah.
that's pretty much the only way you're gonna get a giant
The funny
Galaxy
thing is,
battery.
so it has the same size display as the S7, but because there's like this big case around it, it's pretty much the same size as the Edge.
that's
So
that's crazy. That's weird,
yeah.
man.
So I don't have a lot to say about it. I mean, it's just imagine a Galaxy S7 in a big outer box. That's really what it is. And the thing that is just so sucky about it is you can only get it on AT&T.
Yeah, that's I don't know how AT&T keeps nabbing an exclusive on that the year after year after year, but it's just been their thing now. I guess kind of like the Verizon with their turbos.
Yep.
Um, man,
All right. So let's move into some of the quick hits of the week. So Peter Chow, the dude's been with HTC for a long time. Apparently, he has left the building.
yeah, he's no longer with HTC. I mean, apparently he kind of like stepped down not too long ago, but HTC was like, oh, he's still a part of the creative board of directors, or, whatever the heck it
They
was.
didn't want to say that he was
They
gone.
didn't want, yeah, to admit it, but yeah, they finally they finally admitted like, oh yeah, he hasn't actually worked for HTC since September of last year or something. So it's pretty much as we expected. The dude got fired, but I'm guessing it was kind of like a PR move for them to kind of keep it a little bit more quiet. because they didn't want it to seem like, oh, HTC's like, oh, they're in the tank, they're tanking bad, doing horrible.
Did you see where he works now?
Oh no, some like movie studio
Digital
production.
Domain.
Yeah, I never heard of
They
them.
they've done a ton of like special effects works on movies. So like the last one they did was X-Men Apocalypse. They did Deadpool. They did Furious 7. I know they did like I'm pretty sure they did Tron back in the day. Kind of a
Interesting.
weird thing for him to go into, but
Yeah, it seems kind of odd, but I mean, I guess it's still
right.
techish related.
So
Kind of.
how do you feel about it? Because I've seen a lot of people write that it's probably a good move by HTC for him to leave.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, the entire time, I think he was the one that was kind of holding them back, so to speak. I just felt like he was like strangling HTC. Um, but I mean, I expect good things from them. I mean, we've kind of seen them kind of move towards like the VR with the Vive and all that. Hopefully, that's going to be a good bet for them. Um, but this should be a good thing because I mean, HTC hasn't really been doing well for years now, and I feel like Chow's been a big part of that reason.
Next story we got so Android apps. Everyone's really excited about them coming to Chromebooks finally, and this week they started actually like the update started rolling out that enables Google Play for Chromebooks. So if you have a Chromebook, you might want to check and see if you can get that.
Yeah,
You can sign into your Chromebook and go to the settings and check there for the update.
yeah. There's
So
only a handful of
yeah,
Chromebooks too.
only a handful right now. So we were talking about 2K and 1080p displays. So of course, Samsung Galaxy S8 rumors, 4K display.
Here we go.
Why? Talk about battery drain.
For VR.
Yeah.
VR is going to look great on
Here's
the
Samsung's thought process. So battery
Galaxy.
life is not very good on the Galaxy S7. What if we put a 4K display on it?
But what if no? There's no way they would have to put a bigger battery or do something because VR is such a battery hog to begin with, and yeah, that's gonna. I mean, I still think that's awesome because VR to me, even with 2K displays, I mean, you can see the pixels. It's so close to your eyes, and then you're
Yeah.
using 3D to kind of like separate them, so you're only getting half and half. So,
This is why, though, I think they need to kind of move beyond the put your phone in the goggles thing.
yes, exactly. They shouldn't make that the whole. They should just make a VR headset with a 4K display
Yeah.
and then let
I
that
mean,
kind of be the end of it.
go the LG route, still plug in your phone, but
Mm-hmm.
not have your phone display be the only display.
Yes, that would make perfect total sense. I
I
don't know
feel
how
like
to.
people would honestly just like that more because putting your phone, even if you're just using something like Google Cardboard, which is $15, putting your phone in the thing is such a pain in the butt.
Yeah, and I don't want to do that unless I'm like, I know that I'm not going to be using my phone that day because it uses so much battery. It's like, yeah, I don't know whoever thought that was a good idea. I mean, maybe initially just to kind of get VR off the ground, but if they're going to be moving to 4K displays and taking VR really seriously, they need to just make a dedicated headset standalone where you don't need your smartphone to.
Because if they have a 4K display, they're going to have to make it as thick as this active phone and put a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in
Yeah,
it.
make it rugged.
Rugged. Oh, and the other part of that rumor is that apparently it's going to have dual cameras, which is the hot thing right now again.
Oh, yeah. We thought we would see that actually with this year's. I think it was this year's model of the something or other. So far, only really Huawei has kind of jumped on that. With
Well,
the
LG did it
camera.
with they had the wide angle as the second one,
Yeah, like
which I think is still the best implementation that I've used.
I think it's great if you can really. I mean, we'll see what Apple does with it, but if you can really use two cameras to make an amazing photograph or amazing quality picture, then good, go for it. But right now, only Huawei is kind of doing that, where it's taking a black and white photo, a color photo, superimposing on top of each other, making this super amazing photo. And then we're gonna see Apple do that. But like, I mean, dual cameras have kind of been a thing. I mean, HTC did it with the One M8,
Yes, they did.
and LG's got the dual camera thing, but nobody's kind of doing it. Going to be doing it the way Apple's doing it, except for Huawei right now. But It'll be interesting. That's going to be the next big trend. Dual cameras all around.
All right, so I got a question for you. When you think of really bad Android skins, which manufacturer do you think of?
Huawei.
And they're working on their own OS. Yay.
Oh, wonderful. That's a great idea.
Yep.
Oh man.
So apparently they're working on their own OS in case things burn out with Google, I guess. I don't know if there's some concern there.
Yeah, this has kind of been one of those rumors. I mean, we heard it with Samsung back, I mean, years and years ago before, like when they were still working on Tizen, and then eventually they, released a Tizen phone. It was just in Korea or just in China. I can't remember where. So I'm guessing this is probably has more to do with that because Google services and stuff in China just really aren't happening. um, so I guess they kind of feel like, well, if we can't get Google stuff, why do we keep working on Android? We should just make our own OS and load it with Baidu and all this stuff. I mean, it's just, I guess it kind of makes sense a little bit, but and Huawei's huge. I mean, in China, they're like the top manufacturer.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
They're right up there with like Samsung. So I guess that part kind of makes sense. I mean, there's also the rumor again that Samsung is thinking about breaking off from Android completely, and people are just like, yeah, no, don't do it. But again, that was another rumor that we've seen for years now. And to me, I just feel like some of these rumors, they just start out, it's going to be a Chinese only thing, and then people take that little snippet
blow it out
of
of
rumor,
proportion.
blow it out of proportion. Oh, they're going to switch out. Like, there's no way they would do that now, and with the ecosystem they have with Android and Google Play and all their apps and stuff, there's just, I don't think we'd ever see that in like Europe and America and stuff. China, sure, whatever, but I don't think we'll see that here.
All right, so Throwback Thursday, second edition. You missed last week. We talked about Task Killers, which was fun.
Oh.
Yep, and we referenced your old video that you made back in the day.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw a spike in views, but so we got an email actually from Jason Broad. He sent us this long list of suggestions that he had for Throwback Thursday. So I want to thank you, Jason, because this week we're going to use one of your suggestions, and that is trackballs.
Oh, man.
There are probably people listening to this that have never seen a trackball on a phone ever.
What was
so,
the thing?
Chris, do you want to explain what a trackball is to people who may not know?
It's like that game Centipede back in the 80s. Just a giant ball, and you just move it around. They probably don't remember Centipede either.
Yeah, it's literally was just a ball that you would roll around with your finger, and it would move around the screen so that you didn't have to like touch the screen. Yeah. And it was on for Android phones, because I think it started probably on like Windows mobile devices.
Mm-hmm.
But for Android phones, I remember it was on the HTC Droid Aeris, which was the first phone I ever had. It was on the G1, which is the first Android phone. Correct?
Yes, the G1.
It was on the Nexus One, I remember.
Yeah, no, the Nexus One had it. That's true. And I think it was the like Desire or something. They got rid of the trackball and they moved to like an optical. It's basically the same idea.
Yeah,
you
just roll your finger over it.
Because the problem with the damn ball was that everyone's fingers are all greasy. So if you're eating like KFC and you start using the ball, it would just get gunked up so quick. But I did like on the G1 the fact that the ball also lit up. That was your LED notification light.
Yeah,
so
I remember that on the Droid Aeris too.
They had all the little colors in there, and I thought that was the coolest thing because I mean, this is right before I got the G1. I had the Sidekick, and the Sidekick had lights all around the sides, and it had its own little D-pad that lit up, and the lights have kind of gone out for all these phones now. No one's really doing crazy lighting anymore.
Yeah, I actually hate LED notification lights, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like
the trackballs were just funny.
It was a
I liked thing. I was really sad when they were starting to go away because I liked it. Cause I felt like it was a cool way to move, your cursor between letters and just for a little more precision.
What it was awesome for was when you were browsing the web and you could just scroll down a page. That was so handy.
Yeah. And then even like in web browsing, like on the internet back in the day, I mean, even now maybe there was like certain things where you would have to highlight something, but not necessarily click it. You would highlight it, and then it would show more information or
Hmm.
move like a thumbnail or whatever. And the only way to really do that was with the trackball. So when they got rid of it, it was just like, what do you do? You have to just tap something
I
now.
also remember because like mobile websites at that time were not very great, like you said. And so when you had a trackball, you could scroll through the page and it would highlight the links. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
like having to tap the tiny link with your
Oh, that's
finger, you
true.
could
That is
highlight it
true.
with the trackball and then just hit the trackball, which was
Yes.
really convenient.
It was neat. It was I feel like we don't really probably need them anymore, but it was a cool thing to have.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
but even if they just failed after I think like a year, everyone's trackballs started like blowing out and stuff because of all the gunk. I
That's
kept mine in pristine condition. I had a
yeah.
Q-tip and alcohol. I'd wipe mine down all the time.
I never remember mine getting too dirty, but
Mm.
that is probably one of the reasons why they stopped using it. It's just it's a hardware thing that can break, you
Yeah,
know. The less heart moving parts, the better.
exactly.
All right, so email us if you guys ever had a phone with a trackball and let us know if you have fond memories or if you hated them.
Only
All right.
2,000 kids will remember.
Yep.
Trackball.
Yeah. That should be we should do like a BuzzFeed style
We should post that.
post
Yeah.
for old Androids thing. Only 2,000 kids will remember these Android features.
Mm.
All right, let's do some wins and fails of the week.
Ooh.
So for me, I got the NVIDIA Shield TV this week.
What?
Yeah, and this is the first Android TV device that I've ever had. Got it at a perfect time because my Roku 3 was starting to really show its age. I think I've had it for like a couple of years now. So I got the Shield TV and I like it a lot. It's super fast. I know I've heard that some Android TV devices are like really sluggish, but the Shield TV is like probably the most powerful one out there. And
Yes.
so it's super quick, like loading Netflix videos like instantly, loading YouTube videos instantly. And so I've been kind of messing around with some fun stuff. So I downloaded a Super Nintendo emulator and I've been playing some Super
Oh,
Nintendo games.
what?
Yeah. I side loaded do you ever remember the game Commander Keen? It's actually my lower third right now. This little dude is from this game. It's like probably my favorite game of all time. It was an old DOS game, Microsoft DOS. Super old game. Like it was like a game that came with Windows 95 maybe or something like
Oh
that.
my God.
Way back in the day. I played it so much when I was a kid.
Okay.
But someone actually made like an Android app for phones that has all the Commander Keen games. And so I sideloaded it onto my Shield and I was using the controller to play it. It was so awesome.
Oh
But
man.
I'm having a really good time with it. The voice searching thing is weird. Like you can't, for some reason, I can't get it to work. Like to say I would just want to open Netflix, I would say play Netflix or open Netflix. It never works. It always just does a YouTube search and brings up videos. I don't
That's
get it.
there was like an update to like the Logitech, whatever, the little speakers that they have for like Google Now stuff, and I couldn't get anything to work on that either. I would keep saying like play this artist or play this, and it would just go to a Google search, and I'm like, not a Google search, voice actions, just open the damn song, and it just wouldn't do it. It's kind of frustrating.
Yeah. So
Ah,
thumbs up for me. I like it. I'm thinking about maybe getting an HD home run where you can like hook it up to an antenna and then stream your like over the air channels to the Android
yeah.
TV interface, which would be pretty neat.
Oh, that would be really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Holy cow! I didn't even know you could do that.
Yep.
Oh.
All right. So my fail of the week is gonna be personal. I got a scratch on my Pebble.
I thought you could be like, I was scratching my arm.
Yep. Got a scratch on my arm. It's
Dog
pretty
bit me.
no. So yeah, I've been wearing this Pebble for like every day for I don't know, probably close to 3 months now. And at some point I don't even know how it happened. I just
Yeah, you
noticed.
never know how
I just
it
noticed it. And there's
shows
like
up.
It's a little scratch. It's not big enough that it annoys me a lot, but it's there,
I
and
can tell it annoys you.
it really doesn't. Like, to be honest, if I just like turn my wrist over and check the time, I can't even see it. The only way I can see it is if I look at it with just the right light and the light catches it.
Yeah, so it's a little faint one.
Yep. But it's still a little depressing that, I scratched it. Scratched my baby.
I got a nice little screen protector for my Moto 360.
I had one on mine too. I never thought about getting one for my Pebble.
It's got chips on it from, I guess, where I've hit it on things. I don't even know. A chip there, a chip there. I mean, it's probably definitely saved the display on this thing numerous times.
That's the funny thing is I've
crack on it.
Multiple smartwatches, and this is the first time I've scratched one. And there have been so many situations where I've hit a watch on something and I'm like, oh crap. And then I look and there's nothing there.
And it's fine. Yeah, that's what happened before. I mean, this screen protector hasn't even been on there that long, but I just remember with the original Pebble, that was the worst because it had a plastic display. the whole front was plastic. So I just got this giant marred scratch, like it was the most disgusting thing, and I just couldn't stop looking at it. And I was just like, at that point, I was like, never again, never again. And yeah, now I'm just gonna buy screen protectors for every smartwatch I buy because I can't handle it.
I'm currently Googling Pebble Time Steel screen protector.
Yeah, look on like Amazon for the tempered glass ones. I mean, plastic works too, but it's probably better to go plastic anyway because it'll be cheaper and you don't have to touch the display like you do on the Moto 360.
Right, you don't have to touch the display, so it doesn't really matter. Good tip. I don't know why I didn't think about that. I literally wrote a post back in the day about putting screen protectors on Moto 360, and then never crossed my mind to put one on this watch.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my Pebble Time 2 to come in, but once it does, I'm honestly not even sure I'll take it out of the box until the screen protector comes in with it, because it's too much stress.
All right, what do you got?
I think I have a double fail for the week. Nice. My double fail is going to be the T-Mobile Get Thanked promo. Did you guys talk about this last week, by the way?
We actually didn't. No, we had so much other stuff to talk about.
Oh, okay, awesome. Because so if you guys don't know, T-Mobile has this. It was part of their Uncarrier whatever 7.0 9.
Some pointless number. Yep.
I don't even know where they're at on it now, but basically they're giving T-Mobile customers quote unquote perks and free stuff just for being a customer, and they call it Get Thanked. And basically you use this mobile app that they created for Android or iOS, and you can log into it every week and just redeem free stuff. So initially it started out with Domino's pizza, which is great because I love pizza. What was the other? Oh, a free Frosty at Wendy's. Just random kind of dumb stuff. But the Domino's pizza was kind of awesome.
It's like Voodoo movie rental, I think.
Voodoo movie rental, which I don't think too many people really use, but I mean that's still pretty cool too. So it was kind of neat. It just wasn't like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like a reason why you would want to switch to T-Mobile or even stay with T-Mobile, because I need to get that free Frosty every time I go to Wendy's. No. But anyways, I guess Domino's, there was so much demand for it because the Domino's was really the only good promotion that Domino's just backed out, and they said we can't honor this anymore, which was kind of embarrassing for T-Mobile because they were like, shoot, what are we going to do now?
More embarrassing for Domino's. I just remembered that this was my fail last week. I was like, you can't do the one thing you're supposed to do, which is make pizzas.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you have to do is just make a damn pizza and just make it quick. And it's not even that hard. I mean, I feel like
there's literally that commercial for Domino's where they send like 50 people into an unknowing location just to test how fast they can make pizzas. Have you ever seen this commercial?
No, are you serious?
Yeah, it's like a test that they run every once in a while where they just send like a crap ton of people into a random location and see how well they handle it. So I'm like, you have this commercial where you do this and then you back out because you're like, there's too many people wanting pizza.
I mean, they should have known this ahead of time and whatever. So, I mean, the Get Thanked per month is just kind of bust. Besides the fact that it hasn't even worked. I guess their servers or this and that. The strain of it all has just been crapping
That
out.
was
So
the problem this week. Yeah.
yeah, every week it's been something. Initially, when it first came out, they were saying bear with us, and then this week again, when the new promo came out, it just completely crashed everything, and they're just like, bear with us again because you guys really want that free Frosty. So chill for a second. And I think now they're promising something else. I
They
don't even know
extended
what
it
it
to
is.
Friday is one thing that they did this week.
Yeah. The one thing I will say that was cool is because they had a little roulette wheel and they were giving away free tickets to the Warcraft movie. But unfortunately, the fine print says that you had to have redeemed it. You had 2 days basically. In those 2 days, I was at E3 and I was like, shoot. So by the time I remembered it, I mean, it was past. I couldn't even redeem the dang thing. So,
You have T-Mobile, right?
yes.
So have you tried it? Any of these?
I haven't tried redeeming any of them. The only one that I got was the Warcraft movie ticket, and I didn't redeem it because I was like, oh, you have to wait for. It was on Tuesday and Wednesday that you had to redeem it, and I didn't have a chance because I was at E3. But that's it. I mean, I kind of want to go to Wendy's and just get my free Frosty because it's there, but we'll see. Wendy's Frosties are pretty good, though.
They are for sure.
So that was my first fail. My second fail is going to be I guess you can't even call it Motorola. Motorola's dead, and they kind of have been since Lenovo bought them up.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that they're actually technically not Motorola anymore. They're Moto.
You can't call them, and it's really confusing because you'll read a lot of stuff like, "Oh, Motorola's new phones," or it's not Motorola's new phones at all. They're totally Lenovo's phones. So it's just Motorola is completely dead. It's just Moto now, and that's just kind of the name of that specific line of devices, the Moto devices. So it's if you want to get technical with it, the new Moto Zs that are coming out, it's the Lenovo Moto Z. It's not a Motorola Moto Z like they used to be, or Motorola Moto X back in the day. So whatever. The design lead, their main guy that was designing all their products and was like responsible for like the Moto X, and he was there since when Google bought them up, and then they got sold to Lenovo. All this stuff, he's been there the entire time. But Jim Wicks, you'll see him in pretty much all the like promotional videos for Motorola they've ever done, where they're talking about the design of their phone, or using real Horween leather, or the bamboo backs on the Moto X, all that awesomeness. This guy was responsible for the design of the Moto 360, all that stuff. But Jim Wicks has left. He is officially gone, but he's not going to like Google, like their ex Motorola CEO did. He's just going to be, I think he's doing a teaching gig at some university. I forget the exact one. The Northwestern University of Siegel Design Institute. Northwestern. And he's going to be joining their full-time faculty. So pretty interesting. Especially considering, I mean, I don't know, maybe for a design lead, it's probably a little bit harder, but I mean, I guess he's going for a teaching gig. So that's cool. With Motorola's CEO, Rick Osterloh, he left and he's actually heading the product team at Google for all their little products. So that was cool. But Jim is going to be teaching now. It's interesting.
He was a cool guy. I remember him, like he did a lot of stuff when the original Moto 360 came out.
Yep. All the stuff he always spoke at all the events, talking about the designs and all that stuff. And I loved the direction Motorola was heading. It was just so different as far as design wise, all their products and everything they were doing from everyone else. I mean, I feel like they were the polar opposite of Samsung, where Samsung goes for shiny and chrome and sparkly glitter and all this stuff, whereas Motorola was going for like natural wood and leather and kind of like a simple UI. And it was just it was the two opposite sides of the spectrum, and it just sucks because Jim Wicks was definitely a big part of that. And for him to be gone, I mean, Motorola is dead. They're total. I mean, that was the last piece of the puzzle for them, and now that he's gone, it's just going to be some Lenovo executives stepping in, and I don't know what the hell they're going to do because Lenovo's kind of weird. So that's it. Moto's dead. Motorola's dead. It's sad. Very sad.
All right. So for app picks this week, I'm gonna do another secret game for Facebook Messenger. I think I talked about this when they had a basketball game.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
so they have a new one, and it's a soccer game now. It works exactly the same way. You put in the soccer ball emoji in whatever conversation you want, and then you tap the soccer ball emoji, and then it launches this little game where you have to see how long you can keep the soccer ball in the air. And it's a simple game, but like the basketball one, the fun part is that it keeps score for you. And if you're in a group chat, you can all compete to get the high score in the room, which is really the fun part about it. So if that's something you're interested in, you have a group of friends they like to compete with, the soccer ball is a fun little game that you can play.
I'm gonna do it right now. Oh, there's a little soccer ball. There's like a. It's actually at the top of the little emoji categories.
Is it
So
now?
it's
Yeah.
really easy to find. So you click that, and then you have all the little sports stuff below it, and then you can just click the soccer ball. I'm gonna do it right now because I didn't even know.
Speaking of emoji, I know that there's a uh, app that you're kind of excited about.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna send a message to the people in the chat real quick. Tap the soccer ball. um, so the app that I am absolutely enthralled with, I freaking love, is called Dango. Django. It's
There's
called
no
Dango,
J.
and it's totally amazing. This was one of Joe's picks, and at first I was like, "What is this crap?" But I feel like Joe knew that I was going to pick it because it was emoji, and I love emoji so much.
I love this app too, so you're not alone.
It's really good. So instead of so there's a lot of different keyboard replacements, and a lot of them have like a GIF choosing fit feature, or I mean, there's all these different ways to like get. But sometimes you don't want to use those keyboard apps. So Dango is good because you just type like you normally would, and a little pop-up thing appears next to the text field, and you tap it, and it knows the context of your conversation. Um, and it will recommend emoji based on different words in your sentences, and then it even has a GIF search feature. So if you keep scrolling, it has all these GIFs that are playing. You can click on them and easily send them in Hangouts, and it's just too amazing. I mean, really, really good. I even showed my girlfriend, and she was like, "Holy crap!" Like her mind was completely blown.
The thing
Um,
that I think is even cooler about it is that in some apps it can see the messages that you've received and then recommend a message based on that. So if someone was like, "Hey, you want to get a burger?" Dango will see that they mentioned burger
yes.
and it'll suggest the burger emoji for you, which is very cool. I've never seen a keyboard app that can do that.
No, that's probably my favorite part about it so far. But of course, with that comes privacy concerns or whatever, and it's got to read the context of your messages. The developer says that they don't store or upload any of that stuff to the cloud or any of that. It's all on your
Yes,
device.
so stored locally.
So that's good. I'm not really too worried about it because I'm not talking about anything
It's
too.
the same thing you have to worry about with any keyboard app you use.
Yes, exactly. And then there's even ways to kind of blacklist it from showing up on certain applications. So if you're using like the Chase app for your banking or something like that, you can put those as an excluded app, and it won't even show up on those, which is nice. And it works really, really well. So I mean, even if you don't use emoji that much, but you kind of want to dabble into it, this is just a great way because it's effortless on your part, and it just spices up the conversation. It's wonderful.
All right. So our email question this week, we got one from David Hollingshead, and you'll never guess what he's talking about this time.
Notifications.
Yep. So I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but there's a new notification when you are using an incognito tab in Chrome. And that's what David is talking about. So when you open an incognito tab, there's this new notification that appears where you can tap it and it will automatically close all of your incognito tabs. And so he is annoyed by this because it's another notification
Oh yeah, there it
taking
is.
up space.
Close all incognito tabs. Sure, why not? I mean, I think it's a helpful one though, because usually you're probably doing stuff you're not supposed to in incognito. And you want to make sure that you don't like someone doesn't just multitask back to it. So this way you can quickly tap it, closes it out, and the next time you open the browser, you're not opening to one of those incognito tabs. You're just opening up to the regular browser. This is really cool. I didn't even know that they
The
had
thing
that.
that he doesn't like about it is so it's there all the time. So if someone like was using your phone and you maybe had some incognito tabs open that you like wanted to
Oh,
leave there,
yeah. It's
number
supposed to
one,
remind you, but okay.
yeah, they'd know that you're using incognito mode to do something for one, and then for two, they can just accidentally tap it and close whatever you were doing. So
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
yeah, so
Oh, look at that. The soccer ball is a hit. Everybody in the chat is playing with it right
sweet.
now.
All right, thank you, David, for the email.
Yes.
If anyone else wants to email us anything, like Throwback Thursday suggestions, stuff like that, our address is podcast@fandroid.com. And you can subscribe to the podcast on Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and whatever your favorite podcast app may be. The podcast is at Mobile Roarcast on Twitter. You can also send us comments and questions there as well. But we are on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore. Ashley, when she's here, she's at Overlord Roar. And I am at Tall Schmo. And we will see you guys next week. Later.